I'm an office worker who is 28 years old. Last month, I tied the knot with Daniel, who is my age. Until we have children of our own, we plan to continue working as a pair. We decided to divide up the housekeeping since we both work outside the home. I was let down when we started because he showed no signs of wanting to lend a hand. "Welcome home," he proclaims. "Same here. I'm going to whip up some food as soon as I get home." When I visit a buddy, we typically merely reheat leftovers or meals that have already been cooked. I used to make sure Daniel had something new every day, but then I started making things ahead of time. The truth is that every once in a while I really want a fresh supper. His constant gripes about meals have been driving me crazy as of late. I'm getting the cooking pot on now, but it will be a while. As inconvenient as it is, Daniel is supposed to clean the restroom. He does clean it, but he never stops griping. I do most of the cooking and dishwashing during supper. We never get home early because we both work late hours. Since Daniel is always griping, I sometimes feel compelled to cook from scratch, even though I would like to make everything fresh if I had more time. I want freshly made meals. This is only the latest example of how his demands have escalated. If you want fresh food that badly, why don't you make it yourself? I lose it. "Apologies, I just dropped by to see my brother, who lives nearby," he explains, but I get the impression he mistook my tone for anger. Actually, Daniel was the one I was referring to. Once I mistook his putting for his, and he became really angry with me. An entire month passed without him speaking to me. Stupidity reigned. I was enraged and let down because the pudding I had been anticipating wasn't in the refrigerator. It still irritates me to think about it now. "Please stop." "Just kidding," I point out. "But seriously, why are you being so coy right now? Now that we're husband and wife, we must learn to put up with each other's rudeness. When you share a home with someone, I suppose you get to know them better. You are an adult, you know. Who made you so furious?" "In my opinion, yeah, the one juggling work, everything else, and Daniel, who doesn't do much and is always moaning. If only he could show any consideration, that would be great. What's the big deal with prepared meals? Now is the moment to commend someone for their efficiency. Everyone wants to come home to hot, freshly cooked dinner every day, but who's going to do the cooking? Daniel isn't going to anyway. The man doesn't even bother to pick up his own trash. I think he relies too much on me. You are not his mother, though. This is meant to be a collaborative effort. What will happen when we have children if this continues?" "Well, I know I'm just listening to your story, but if there's anything I can do, just let me know," adds my sibling. I respond, "Thanks, big brother." After our conversation, I felt a little better, but I'm still not feeling great. After my brother and I had a few days of conversation, I returned home later than normal. Daniel heaved a heavy sigh as I was reheating some leftovers and preparing dinner. "Oh, you're cutting corners once more," he commented. "I don't skimp on quality just because it's pre-cooked. There isn't a store-bought item on the table. Just heat it up before serving, and it's the same as any deli meat you'd purchase at the supermarket." "What? Food that has been reheated is revolting to me. Fresh food is my only preference." "Oh my, that's awful. A lot of work went into this. Tacos are a laborious affair to make." "Screw it. I simply desire food that is fresh." I lost my cool. Why did I marry someone so cruel? I couldn't help but wonder. I'm beginning to wonder if this was the right choice. Someone like this is too much for me to handle. Finally, I respond, "All right, I see. It will no longer be reheated by me. My feelings were finally conveyed by you." Daniel says, "Good," as if perfectly content. Following Daniel's request, I made sure to only offer him freshly cooked food the following day. "Oh, I walked over to get the food you requested, which is hot and freshly made. In just a few minutes, I'll have brought you some delicious, freshly made meal. Won't it?" Saying yes, I proceed. All I do is top it with chopped lettuce and tomato and drizzle it with dressing. You mentioned that freshly cooked is ideal, so it's not easy to whip up some at home. However, I think you have all you need with this. What? I simply cannot eat this much. It was you who suggested that something is best when it's freshly made. You lack empathy. In that case, I'll make you another dish. I retrieve eggs from the fridge, pour some rice into a dish, and return to the kitchen to bring them to Daniel. I suggest, perhaps with an undercurrent of sarcasm, that we prepare and savor egg-cooked rice. Rice cooked with eggs? How is that a dinner? That's simply not feasible. Merely stating, "Ah, that's right, my tone remains parched. This rice hasn't been prepared just now. The rice will be removed. Oh no, eggs must be laid just now, don't you think?" Ultimately, I remove the food. Although it may appear trivial, I am becoming increasingly convinced that a change is necessary. The egg-fried rice with cold chicken that you requested was tasty, and I'm also collecting for this. Even if it poses a nutritional problem, I eat this dish daily and it's delicious nevertheless. What are some things I can enjoy eating? It's true, it's challenging for individuals who can only consume food that is freshly prepared. Excuse me, what do you mean by that? I thought you said it would be served fresh. I am powerless to change the situation. There will be a delay. Well, I'm going to get in the tub, so feel free to whip up a batch. During Daniel's bath, I made my way to the kitchen. In the living area, I eventually overheard Daniel making a hissing sound. "Oh, sibling." Upon seeing my older brother enter, he said, "Good evening, Daniel," in astonishment. "This hamburger is good, Emma," my brother remarked. "I'm happy for you." "I would also want one, please," Daniel inquired. "I will provide you something else because this was preheated. It may not be to your liking." "Please be patient. I'm currently working on something else." "No problem at all. I had to reheat some stew that I had already made. Could you possibly eat food that has already been prepared? However, it's absolutely mouth-watering. It really absorbs the flavors," my brother exclaimed with delight as he savored the reheated dish. "Where is my meal?" As he waited eagerly, Daniel finally said something. "No need to hurry," I said. My brother then proceeded to pat his full belly a few minutes after that. His stomach rumbled next to him. He repeated, "Emma, where is my food?" Thereafter, "Please be patient for another 2 hours. My rice is still being submerged." "For the past 2 hours, what have you been working on?" "I need to gently stir-fry the onions, but it's curry." "Something like this is difficult for me to eat. Could you only also make me a hamburger? I would really appreciate it." "You mentioned that you were okay with waiting." "The 2 hours will fly by now that my hunger has taken over. Would you be able to swiftly prepare something, like a burger?" "I started preparing a hamburger since I had no other option." "When will it be ready?" Asked 30 minutes later. "Why have you chosen to do nothing? What happened to my meal?" "To make sure the rice is ready to eat when you are, I'm going to soak it in water. As far as I can tell, the rice cooker is almost at the ready." "I thought you were going to boil the rice right now." "Ideally, it should be prepared just before serving, wouldn't you agree? Not that I require rice. I need a hamburger, please." As Daniel departed from the kitchen, I let out a sigh and he returned 20 minutes later. Asking if it was nearly time for his hamburger, he spoke up. "The onions that were fried slowly are now cooling down. I'm eagerly anticipating witnessing this prepared in the traditional manner. It will take no more than an hour. My brother might be sick to his stomach by then." I played the teasing card. "An hour. Is that correct?" "I'm kidding. That amount of time is too long. Can't you just wait for the food to be prepared?" "Excuse me," I inquired. "You can only wait so long. It's horrible that I won't have food until midnight, and I'm exhausted from work. Isn't that excessive?" Also, my brother mentioned that Emma is exhausted from work. All this time she's been in the kitchen, and all you've done is sit around and grumble without doing anything. Are you not aware that you're being irrational? I declared. That's due to the fact that cooking in general is labor-intensive. It's enough for me that it's handmade, but it's self-centered of you to claim that freshly prepared food is your only option. No one to help me out in the kitchen, no one to enjoy the home-cooked meals I make, and nobody to share meals with, I whispered. I see that as an additional issue. I apologize, Emma. I feel terrible about how self-centered I've been. Because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, I've always been wary about reheating food because she always gave it to me hot and fresh. However, I feel like I have a family when I hear the sounds of cooking in the kitchen. I find it calming. Starting now, unless it's the weekend or you're home early, I'll have to make everything again from scratch or reheat it. Though I'm not a fan of deli food from the shop, I can eat pre-made foods. Isn't that all right, Emma? Listen, Daniel, I've had enough of your egotism. When you have some free time, tidy up and wash the laundry if you find that listening to cooking puts you at peace. There will be no more homemade goods from me for you, so staying married is pointless if this is the case. So we're going to file for a divorce? He inquired, his shock mounting. I don't mind if you remain at home till I locate a new place to live. I have spare bedrooms. All right, I will be patient. Hey, I can lend a hand with the housework. If I am your mother, you believe it. You would find more happiness if you returned to her. A divorce is not something I want. I got sick of hearing Daniel's requests, so my brother and I gathered all of our belongings and ran away. Following that, we met with our parents' respective sides of the family for a conversation. My in-laws subsequently humbly requested a divorce from Daniel. Daniel began living on his own after the divorce because he could no longer visit his parents. However, his room appeared disorganized due to his inability to tidy or do laundry. Even he was unable to prepare his own food and had to resort to using the side dishes he despised. My brother's house was a makeshift shelter for me, but I've secured permanent housing, so I'm packing up and heading out. My brother pointed out that you may have remained for an eternity. Your girlfriend will be unable to visit your residence if I remain. Were you aware of that? I was in a relationship. I do now, yeah. What about taking a seat at the table? My current pursuit is specialized culinary instruction. You know, no processed foods for her, please. Her homemade meals are delicious, and I would love to eat them, too. The setting is perfect for us to prepare meals for one another. I hope you savor the homemade meals I prepare for you. He sent me a plethora of food-filled Tupperware containers when I relocated. I appreciate it, sibling. I say we reheat it and eat it. Much obliged for your time. When will Emma's next peculiar appearance be? Have fun. Excuse me, Mai. If you would like, you can disregard it. Just leave me be if you don't want to talk to me. Good news, you've made it out alive. Just where are you? I am at home. Remember to return at this very moment. Having you by my side is essential. Let me know what's going on. Alice here, 33 years of age. Karen hasn't changed much since our younger days. I'm having a barbecue at the campground with my husband Mike and his pals today. Okay, so that's pretty much it. However, Karen does make some valid arguments. She is still very much in touch with her schoolmates and has a job at the factory managed by an elderly man in our town. I decided to try my hand at barbecuing today because Mike really wanted to. My friend was pleasantly surprised to see us here. I had only spent one night with this crew previously, and I had already made up my mind not to attend any further gatherings with them. Hey, Mike, how about we grill this steak? If your husband was talking to other women, you, the wife, would be upset to hear. Here we have John, who is putting in a lot of time and effort with his band, but is still having trouble breaking through. They dated in high school, and he makes his income as a part-time employee at a convenience shop. Oh, really? How? Were you unaware of that? Oh, it seems like you made a mistake again with your words. We call him Paul, and he has no work. His joblessness is understandable. He appears unmotivated to work, if that is indeed the case. Day labor helps him out every now and then, but except that, he's been seeing a lot of women, or not. I simply wanted to inform you the truth. Alice, you're not the kind to say things like that, so I'm sorry. I'd rather not listen to it. Oh, I see. No need to worry about it. No one Mike knows is timid or sensitive. They're all too outspoken. What are you doing, cooking meat, Alice? I barbecued some steak and wanted to know whether he could use it. He never responded. Hey, Mike, could I grill this meat before we cook it? Wow, I can handle that. Oh, I responded. Indeed, Karen comes from a very affluent family. She has a lot of spare cash since she is the daughter of the head of the company and also works as an executive. I must say they do look good. Kindly distribute them evenly. Excuse me, but which one is mine? If I am disregarded, I will return home alone. It was a very bad thing. Truly, it was impossible. It was a smart choice, in my opinion. Lucky the robot that the doctor created is sitting next to my friend, who is also the director of the Doctoral Robotics Research Institute. You don't want to go home, and I get that. I hope you'll stay with us today and at home. I can't believe Mike has so many unanswered calls. During our conversation, I failed to notice. Some form of problem had to have occurred. Why don't you give it another go? It was intriguing. Hey, have you been seen? To my residence I returned. But I don't understand why you left without asking. I was starving to death because you paid no attention to me. Your meat is safe with you. Also, if someone ignores you, are you too little to care and just go home? It seems like you're having trouble focusing on your wife and instead spending time with your old buddies. You can't possibly be an adult, in my opinion. However, return at this very moment. I could really use your help. Since I do not own a large vehicle, what do you mean? Where do the other people stand? Your thoughts are entirely focused on yourself. How are we going to return home now that you've used our automobile to go? You drive a little car. On this occasion, I did in fact load up our van with all the camping gear, and Karen brought along his 3 buddies. At the spot, we all piled into Karen's little car. That is to say, there would be absolutely no room for my bags in the vehicle if I joined you. Therefore, you should plan your exit from the campsite independently. Plus, we're just going on a day trip. Not even a sleeping bag is in our possession. Because of you, we are all suffering and we do not have any money. Wow, that's so cool. Camping comes to mind, doesn't it? How about a river fishing trip and some mountain nut picking? Surely I am not capable of doing that, am I? In any case, you'll have to pay to camp here. Therefore, a bed will cost you more if you wish to remain there. The campground is well known as an Anaheim hotspot, so you may expect to pay a premium for a room on weekends and holidays. You appear to be having a lot of difficulty attempting to resolve this issue independently, which is particularly concerning given that I will not be able to assist you. It would appear that they are capable of facing a multitude of challenges. The realization that Alice isn't present at this moment would be terrible. Considering the current weather forecast, it appears like there will be heavy rain today. Therefore, I expect a lot of labor. It's wise to allow the rain to gently patter down your cheeks. Mike and Karen dropped off our van the following day. After returning to the campsite, I gathered all of my belongings. It's my home. Everyone deserves an apology from you. As a wife, you should feel ashamed for causing us all this hardship. My apologies, Alice. Our friendship is strong. No need to conceal it, I assure you. You've turned into a bunny and are lonely. Little Breos, you are adorable. You merely wish to capture Mike's interest. The girl's emotions are clear to me. The fact that Karen is so kind is a blessing. Then why is Karen staying home? She dropped by to veg out. Together, Mike and I will be watching a movie. I am leaving, so it's not an issue. We should watch a movie at home more often, but Mike and I haven't done that since we were in high school. Oh, I'm almost certain that was after the film. Despite the passage of time, it was our first encounter. My head was spinning from all the chaos. I went to the doctor's house without a plan, and even now I cringe whenever I bring up the subject. It's terrible. Before you got married, didn't you know about him? His local connections were well known to me, but I had no clue they were this robust. Until I tied the knot, I had no acquaintances. We've been married for a year now, but a lot has been revealed recently. I get it, Dr. Peter. What's the matter? Despite the brilliant doctor's suspicions, I do not believe Mike and Karen are being suspicious. The word suspicious is used to describe someone who is having an affair. Actually, I think we're almost romantically involved. To be more precise, I suppose that is true now that I consider it in retrospect. During her time at camp, Karen developed strong feelings for Mike. Like yesterday, she anticipated my rejection and proceeded as if she were inviting me out nonetheless. No matter how many times I said yes, Mike would still have said no. A return to one's own home. Something so dangerous that they are likely assuming Alice will be absent for at least a few hours. So Deke can make the most of that chance. The question is, will he immediately depart as soon as he hears the door open? It's plausible, but I'm not sure. On the other hand, the brilliant doctor could be planning ahead while he's actually watching a movie. Yeah, I'm home now. Welcome home. You came home early. It's kind of suspicious. I paused to retrieve an item. No, I wasn't viewing a film. I was going to watch it, but I ended up not feeling like it, so we just had a regular conversation instead. Yeah, so what did you come to get? I'm staying at the doctor's house today, so I came home to pick up clothes. Please take your time. I admire you. I suspect you have something to hide. I'm here now, at this point. Waiting for the time is the only remaining task. Forget about us for a while and have fun. That's right. One day later. Behold this. So, a few days from now, how about we hold a party at my place? We appreciate you being here today. Alice's party is out of the ordinary. It's an apology for the camping trip the other day. All right, we're having a free, unlimited buffet today. Having eaten so much, I feel fortunate. I won't need supper because I'll eat a lot. Oh, please don't take my food. Doctor, don't be greedy. I get it. I can almost feel your remorse for what happened the other day. All you really want is some pampering. Everyone will be staring at you if you throw a party in your own house. You won't feel so alone if you bring along your pals, even if they don't understand. Robotically similar to a woman holding milk glasses. But excuse me, please don't say anything bad about my friend. I've already stated the facts. Then I suppose I should also give you the facts. I thought you and Mike were cheating on each other. Oh, why say this all of a sudden? There's no reason for people to say things like that just because we're good friends. Oh, I see. What about Paul and me if that's only due to our friendship? He might be seeing Karen. He might be seeing someone. I'm not interested in cohabitation. And not either. For the sake of argument, though, wouldn't it be odd to mistrust nobody but Karen and Mike? That's true. It's unfortunate, Alice. Pick the worst one. On each other, your buddies are in agreement. It appears that there is, but bringing it up serves no use. We are so close. If a friend was in trouble, we'd definitely help him. Our connection is profound. It's an apology party, isn't it? Don't be rude to my friend. There's zero evidence. Your emotional state is the deciding factor in all of your decisions. The proof is all that's needed, though. Please, Doctor, please pay attention to this wall. Please project the video, Lucky. Okay, what is this? Even though Mary won't show it to me, I can see every detail of your erratic behavior. The other day, this covert camera was utilized, and the brilliant doctor is also considering that. I would prefer if you stayed at my place. Afterwards, I will go acquire something else to wear. Time is of the essence, and I want you to act accordingly. I propose that you install a hidden camera in your bedroom. With any luck, you'll be able to uncover some proof. It's not the invention of a genius doctor. To be honest, I don't see it as relevant. Release me. That's why I was lucky enough to be able to catch the scene of the affair between the two of them. The covert camera is very repulsive. This pertains to matters of personal privacy. It is an infringement. Why is it a bad idea for me to put a security camera in my house? What you're doing is wrong. How long have you been doing this? You seem suspicious ever since the other day. Do you know what will happen if you cover them, John and Paul? No, we really didn't know anything. If your deceit is discovered, you will face accusations of complicity. You may be liable for damages. It seems harsh to demand compensation from a third party, but it's a good stimulus for these two. Is compensation money? Yes, I do insist that you pay me. Time passed, maybe 5. Infidelity has plagued these men for the past 5 years. There has been a sexual relationship between Mike and myself for 5 years. Tell me why you betrayed me. I wonder where your deep bond went. Even so, it was 5 years before we started dating, so why did you marry me? Because of that, Karen and I ended our high school relationship. Even though it's said that reuniting doesn't last, Karen and I each went our separate ways for a bit. This led me to keep seeing you even after we broke up with Karen. All right, so you've totally ignored the fact that everyone has been involved for the past 5 years. Do not get involved with it in any way. I also do not. When you were having money problems, I was the one who lent you a hand. That kind of domineering demeanor has always worried me. Because you paid for it, I put up with it. Mike is exactly the same. What are you trying to express at this point? He thought all she wanted was money and a sexual partner. For Karen and for Alice, he was just dating him as a housekeeper. Domestic helper. He stepped in with Alice to cover for Karen since she was helpless. Alice, who is distinct from Karen, is someone I adore. We can't make it work right now, but he has every right to seek recompense. Please be ready because I will deliver it to you. Permit me to have my dad deliver it to you. Obviously, I will not be able to afford to pay you or provide any kind of future assistance. Friendship is the name, isn't it? Is that so? He must have had a little trouble getting reimbursement from John and Paul. Now that Karen isn't on their side, though, they appear to be in a jam. John can't make ends meet without taking on additional part-time jobs. It would appear that he is unable to play in a band. It appears that every single woman present has turned her back on Paul. Plus, he thinks he's cut off all ties with female friends and romantic partners. They are the ones to blame. It appears that his dad has released Karen from the place, although I did receive recompense from her. He seems to have been disappointed. He never worked, despite his best efforts to find employment. So it appears like no one would hire him at 33 years old because he has no job experience. Where is Mike now? Have you gone through a divorce? Alimony was paid to me out of his savings when we got a divorce, but I anticipate that coming forward, things will be challenging, he said, introducing his senior colleague from his hometown. Good morning. Good morning. You can go home now. Excuse me, senior at the company, what do you mean? I requested that you refer to me as president. Well, I'm no longer your president. I still don't understand what you mean. I heard you got divorced. Where did you hear I was divorced? Alice told me that you were having an affair with Karen. I heard this from her as well. With John and Paul on your side, you were able to win her over. Hello, Alice. That's just Alice exaggerating a bit. Even so, adultery is a fact. Of course, I despise liars. Negativity in the workplace is inevitable for those who are unable to adore their life partner. Although my factory's wares are unadorned, the workmanship is uncomplicated. We must confront one another. From my perspective, there is a clear distinction between love and work. You rely on your wife and family for support, which is essential for your job. On a daily basis, they assist you with the task and make a tasty breakfast. Your job has invaded your personal life. Anyway, I hate you, but the company shouldn't be able to fire me for that reason. All the blunders you made have faded from your memory. Delivery mistakes and machine damage were among the many problems. The problem is that we had to deal with the errors head on. We've forgiven the firm, even though they were really furious. It was careless, but we will hold them accountable for what happened. I report to you, it's excessive. Then your presence will lower the level of productivity at this workplace. Would you like me to propose this here? As president, I am deeply embarrassed by this outrageous statement. On top of that, every single employee here is honest. You should just go home since those experienced guys will loathe you. Since it involves your seniors, they will likely despise you for being dishonest. Additionally, it appears that there is a strong sense of community here, which is why Mike will be hired. Locating it could prove challenging. It appears like it will be challenging. Everybody is walking a different path. As for today, that's all. Plus, we'll cross paths in the upcoming video.